So today we're talking about the Brilliance of the Seas main dining room and revealing tips that every solo traveler and non-solo traveler should know. I have nearly 40 cruises under my belt, including solo adventures, and I've uncovered the secrets of securing that perfect dining spot. Let's dive into the dining room tips intertwined with my personal journey aboard the Brilliance of the Seas. From getting that window table to understanding the dress code, let's make your dining experience unforgettable. Let's get started. Right after embarkation, I made my usual beeline to check my dining table. Remember, I've always said it's a good idea to verify your table arrangements early on. When I had requested a table for two, I found out that it was a bit too close for comfort. It was sandwiched between two other tables for two. So a lot of people are perfectly satisfied in where they're sitting and everything. So if this is the case, this probably wouldn't be important to you. But as a solo traveler, it just seems that I have an ability to really kind of analyze this, and I felt like I needed to have personal space for what I was doing, and I didn't know if it was possible. I thought I would inquire. I think solo travel can be a little different than dining with someone because you are at the mercy of whatever's happening around you, and if you have really good servers and really attentive staff and things are quick and moving, it probably really doesn't matter where you sit. But for me, I just wanted a window seat to have a little more space and to enjoy my beautiful experience. Since I was solo traveling, I just am more aware of it. So I just checked my table, and it's nice. It's a rail table, but it's two in, and there are people actually there right now eating, so I can't show you it. But I went and talked to the lady, and I said, I'd really prefer a window table if possible. So now she wants me to come at 7, and she'll try to find me something. So you have to kind of work with these people and see what they can come up with. I mean, it's adequate enough. At least it's a table for 2, not for 8. The issue I had was I was a solo traveler. I wasn't joining another table. My preference was a window table, and I know they're super hard to come by. But honestly, if you talk to the hostess or host and explain to them what you're looking for and why, they are very, very willing to help you. So you just have to put out that request. Also, to stress that there is a solo get-together every night at the Vintages Bar that is located on deck number 6, I believe. And that is where you can meet and probably talk to people and make dinner arrangements, and then that way you're not dining solo. But if solo is what you're looking for, I feel like the table does make a difference because you just want to feel comfortable. But after a chat with the hostess, I explored the My Time dining option for a coveted window seat. My Time dining starts at 7:30, I believe. So if you're coming a little bit earlier, I was able to kind of get whatever table that maybe someone else didn't show up for, or I just kind of had the lead on what tables could be available at that point. Traveling solo has been really easy this time, and she is sitting me at a window every day. This flexibility is something to consider if you're not fully satisfied with your first arrangement. So a key takeaway from my experience is the importance of communicating with the dining staff. Be proactive, express your preferences early on, and don't forget to show your appreciation. A simple thank you goes a long way. But I am happy that I got the table that I wanted by the window. So that was good. I requested it, and she was really good about accommodating me, so that was nice. Over 8 days, I learned that it's not just about the location of your table. The rapport with the waitstaff and the quality of service can make any spot the best seat in the house, especially if you're traveling solo. By the 8th day, I found my perfect dining experience thanks to a wonderful staff team that I really appreciated. How do you pack for such a trip, and what in the world do you wear in the dining room? I can tell you that this particular cruise was pretty casual, and the way I worked it is I picked this color scheme and then I stuck to that, and then I just observed how everything was going. It was fairly casual, like I said, so I wouldn't worry too much about really getting that dressed up, because it just was more, people were more comfortable than dressed up. But I have to say, I did something really stupid today. I don't know if you've ever done this, but usually on day 2, it's formal night. And I was talking to the spa lady today. I was talking to her, she's saying all these people were booking for their hair appointments. And I said, yeah, it's formal night. And everything's on the app, and I can't really find where it talks about what the dining, the attire is. Usually it says formal night or whatever. So I got ready at 7. I was walking, and I started to notice that nobody was dressed up. But I just thought, well, maybe it's because people are casual, they just don't really care. And it just kept getting more and more and more casual. And so as I walked in to make my statement for the 7 o'clock thing about my table, I realized that I was the only person dressed up. So, I mean, I got what I wanted, but I mean, you try to like fit in. And so, I mean, I'm not that dressed up, but it's just enough to make me feel so, it's crazy. I've never done something so crazy like that, but have you ever done that? I don't know. So, oh well. So now I'm going back to my room to change for the rest of the night. The waiters are really sweet. And like I say, the whole ship is pretty much Australians, and they're very friendly people, so I had a good time. I do like to look halfway pulled together in the dining room because it's like a big deal for me. I'm retired, I don't get dressed up that often, so it's just kind of fun. And I know there are people that feel the opposite because they've been working, or maybe they just want to take a break and they're on vacation. I mean, it's whatever, everything goes here, honestly. They just don't want any kind of beach wear in the dining room. And most people don't go like that. So a typical outfit, it's a lightweight dress with just a blazer that's almost like a lightweight. I mean, you can just fold it in half. It's not really padded. And I like to wear this when it's cooler weather, which it is. And I bought a pair of flats that I can wear with other things. So my colors that I packed for this trip were navy, white, tan. So that way I can mix and match, and it looks nice and pulled together, and it doesn't really require any effort. Tonight is tropical night, and we will have some dancing under the stars at the pool, and everyone's supposed to wear their tropical outfit. Like I was saying, black pearls are big here, so I bought some earrings and a necklace, and I thought I would wear that, and I bought the kind from the locals. People are very casual on this ship. I don't see a lot of, maybe a few people dress up, but not too much. Know that you can get away with this type of outfit. It's perfectly fine. I have a tendency to bring a sweater or a blazer or something with me in the dining room because it can be cool, and in the other, like the theater, it's definitely colder. Bring something like that along with you. I had a little bit of confusion with the formal nights because they identified them differently. One was a formal night and one was a dress to impress night, and to me they were different things because they were explained differently. But it turns out they really weren't that much different. It's all subject to your interpretation. And they said there you can wear a nice dress, a blazer for men or women, a pantsuit, something like that. So something a little less dressy, because they didn't mention anything about cocktail dressing or any kind of formal gown. So I'm just going to take an easy route here and just wear a blazer, a scarf, and a longer dress that's all connected, and a pair of flat pumps. I feel like this cruise is a bit casual, so I don't want to be overdressed. So the dress to impress, it's called, and honestly it was just like a regular formal night. A lot of people were in formal attire, cocktail dresses, long dresses, tropical, Caribbean kind of outfits, or just super casual. So it was the gamut of everything. So you can wear whatever you'd like, really. It's just a technicality. So just dress up if you'd like to. And as we started to head towards New Zealand and it got cooler, people started to wear more long sleeve things or pants or vests or things that would keep them warm. The range of temperature was 80 to 60. So here are my personal trials and tribulations in the dining room. The My Type dining really introduced me to many different parts of the dining room, many different types of waitstaff. Some were very seasoned and very efficient, but not necessarily very friendly. Others were slow and maybe just learning their trade. So there was all kinds of people in the dining room. And what my main takeaway was, definitely you need to be flexible. If there is a waiter that you are enjoying, you can request that person. And if you are having any issues, you just need to let them know. I have to say, I don't know anyone that has really expressed this kind of situation. I just felt that maybe I made a mistake changing to my time dining because the inconsistencies, the sometimes feeling like I was put somewhere that I shouldn't have been put, or they didn't, or there wasn't the communication that, hey, you have somebody new or something, whatever it was, I don't know. It just started to become such a problem for me. I thought, well, what is it going to be tonight? Well, how is it going to happen? Did I make this huge mistake? Maybe I should have just stayed with the railing table and be done with it, because at least I would have been getting to know people in my area, and possibly that would have been a more stress-free time. I thought, I am on vacation and I feel like I'm working here. I am working to get the ideal setup for myself. I have the My Time dining section now, which I normally never go for, but then the last couple trips I have been on Royal Caribbean because the tables they've been giving me aren't what I like. So by going to My Time dining and just being able to talk to the people and telling them what you're looking for and coming early at the beginning of My Time dining, you'll find that you can get a better chance to get what you're looking for. I had a table for two last night at the window, and there were people to my right, but we didn't really talk because I think, some people, when they want a table for two, they want a table for two. So if they're not making an overt, I said hello, but if they're not making an effort to say anything, I'm not going to either, because I respect that people just want to be together. But to be honest, they weren't even talking to each other. So, that's just how it is. We'll see what tonight brings. Like I say, I wore my formal night outfit yesterday, so now I'll have to wear my second one for Trials and Tribulations in the dining room. I'd say that the host lady is great. She sits me where I want to sit, and so now I'm in a quieter section, and I think it's between the traditional dining first and second, and I guess I'm filling in where people maybe are not showing up for some reason. Today I was seated in a section and people were midway eating, and I think because it might have been traditional dining and I was at 7 o'clock, I felt like they put me in a spot that maybe they weren't expecting me to be there or something. I was sitting there for a long time and it took a while for them to even come over. So it was like I can't win. It's either too crazy and rushed, or that these people were completely hands off. So what was running through my head was, did I make a mistake? Did I give up my traditional dining spot for something that was My Time dining and it wasn't really panning out the way I liked it? I was wondering, what is the solution here? I don't know. I don't know what to expect out of these situations, but just so you know that, I think when you are solo traveling and you're by yourself, you have a tendency to be overlooked at times. If I shared a table, it would have probably been completely different. I think it can be inconsistent as far as the service. I hate to say that, but that's my experience. Today I got a table for 4 because I requested a window. She was going to give me a window and a seat next to the window, but I insisted on a window, so now I'm at a table for 4. But I like the side better. It's a little quieter because the other side is very hectic. So I feel fortunate. This isn't a good idea because I need some type of rapport. Traveling by myself, I do like to talk to people. I'm not asking for much, but it's just nice to have that little bit of conversation. I was 17 days at sea, and I wasn't dining with a group from the social gathering, I think at Vintage's bar. I hadn't met anybody that I was really wanting to dine with, so it just was important for me, and I started to wonder if My Time dining or what she was doing for me was a good idea. I love the windows. I felt so fortunate to get that. I never had that before, where I had almost every single night I had a window. It took me probably about 8 days to find the table and the people that I wanted to be dining with as far as the waitstaff. And that one night was when I met this fabulous waitstaff that I thought, thinking about this, Maybe it's not that important to have a window. Maybe it's more important to have a staff I can talk to and relate to and have a good memory with. So it just kind of changed my whole perspective. So that's something I learned along the way, that honestly, what matters is who you're dealing with as far as your waitstaff as a solo traveler. Probably if I was with a group of people, I was with my husband or somebody else, that's not that important. But when you're by yourself, it kind of makes a difference, at least for me. Maybe this was a good choice after all. So after 8 days, and it was ironic because the hostess I was dealing with, I saw her every night and she would wave and she would say, okay, I'll get your window table. But she said to me, Bonnie, I don't have a window table today. I don't have any. For some reason, everybody showed up. And would you mind taking a table that's almost at the window, but it's in a different section? The dining tonight was fun. Young waiter and waitress, and they're very, very sweet and can't do enough for you. And so they wanted me to request them for my table. So now I'm going to have them for the rest of the cruise, and I'm really excited because I've been getting some really random, unhappy waiters that just aren't friendly. And so these two are so sweet, and it's a girl and a guy, and they just can't do enough for you, and I'm really excited about that. So things are picking up here as a solo traveler. Solo travel's been fine as far as dining goes. Like I say, I'm talking a lot to the waitress and the waiter, assistant waiter, and then also there's a couple next to me that I talked to a little bit today, so that was nice. So it's whatever you make it, and some people are more willing to talk than others, and I don't really worry too much about it. The service is fine and food flows pretty fast, so there's nothing to worry about as far as hanging around and sitting and waiting. The lady in the front is working with me to make this happen, so I do appreciate that. But it's so funny, one day could be so awful in the dining room, and the next day could be great. But I've noticed now, I'm realizing that people know who to request, and when they like a certain waiter or waitress, they go with that person. And honestly, it doesn't matter where you're sitting at this point, because you just want good service, a person you can talk to, and just some kind of connections. It's just a real big experiment, and you have to be super flexible. And it turns out that these two people, they were promoted recently, and they were so good and so helpful, and their seats weren't in the best section. It was kind of in the middle, off from the window. Maybe this was a good idea to do things the way I did, because I was seated at a bunch of different tables with a bunch of different waiters, and when I finally arrived to this one and I realized, hey, this is a nice staff, they're working way better than I'd say 90% of whoever is in here, why don't I just stay with these people? So did I make a good choice to do my time dining? Turns out it was the best table yet. So because I was able to go all around the dining room, see all the different ways people work, how they interact, and I could look for what I liked. So, and then I found out that you could request the waiter or waitress, and I didn't know that. And I thought, well, I think I really need to just have people I can talk to, and they really looked after me, so I needed that personally. I know some people don't want that, so I did that. And it turned out that my time dining worked out after all. It was, amazing. So what I can tell you is traditional dining has a lot of positives because you do get to know your waiter and waitress. If you aren't happy with that, the best place to go is to your front people, the hostess and hostesses, or the maitre d', and they will work with you to find what you are looking for. You have to be persistent, you have to be flexible. It may be irritating, it could feel exhausting, and you think to yourself, I'm on vacation, I don't want to deal with this hassle. So then that's why people just give up. But I didn't give up, I kept going, and I finally found what I was looking for. So all I can tell you, and I have to say, it made my time with dining very interesting. And so as far as being all worried about solo travel and how am I fitting in and all that, that almost was secondary to the other issues I was dealing with. So it kept my mind busy. It was a challenge, and a really good experience for me. So now I have to think twice about what is it I'm looking for? Am I looking for, honestly, just a nice quiet table away from everything? Or am I looking for the rapport with the waiter, waitress? I really believe it depends on who you're traveling with. Let me know in the comments what you look for when you go to your main dining. Is it such a production for you? Does it matter to you that you have a waiter you can talk to or not? I'm curious. I do have an extensive playlist on the Brilliance of the Seas about casual dining. I have it about the room and about where we went and what we did. And also a ship tour, so please make sure you check that out. As always, thank you so much for watching. I do really appreciate that. And if you have found value or you've learned something in this video, please make sure you give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. I do appreciate that you have watched this. Thank you so much, and happy cruising, and until next time. These are my guys that have helped me out all along the cruise, and I'm really thankful to have them. They've made my cruise very special. Thank you guys so much. It's been great.
You want to thank
Enjoy it.
Bonnie. Thank you, Bonnie. Thank you very much. My name is Shane. And
Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you. Likes and subscribe. Likes and subscribe, Miss Bonnie.
She's so cute. Thank you guys.